Hello and welcome to Grassroots, the show where we take a behind-the-scenes look at the passionate people who work with these terrific animals. Stay with us on the show today because we've got a great couple of stories ahead. And I'm joined by Sam Doran. Sam, good to see you.
Great to have you back with us here, Adam. And you're right, we've got a couple of really good stories today, including one with a young fella who might be after your job, Adamo, in a couple of years' time, and a grand old horse who really made his name in the Mornington Cup.
Well, starting on that, we do have a little bit of a race calling theme in our first segment. And we start off with a story about Jack Starring, a legend of the game, a person that was important with the start of my career as a race caller. And of course, his name is also very synonymous with one particular race club in the northern part of the state, the Club of Gunbower. Let's hear about Jack's association, a long association with the Gunbower Racing Club.
Now he's in, and they're racing upon this occasion in the 2006 Gunbower Cup.
There's a tremendous amount of respect around Jack. He loved the country people. What they meant to him was an association built on a handshake. Because when he first went to Gunbower, the president and he had a drink and had a handshake and said, "See you next year."
What's this in the centre? China Syndrome! China Syndrome has got it in, and China Syndrome has won the cup.
And that went on for 60 years. No contracts, just the handshake. They were proud of the association, and as I say, he loved the country people. And if you had a racehorse, by God, he loved you even more. And that's how he started at Gunbower, and he loved every minute of it. It wasn't a job, it was a pleasure. It was what he wanted to do. He recorded races there for over 60 years. And in fact, we got him in the Guinness Book of Records. They were only too happy to endorse what we did, to send it off to them, and they accepted it, and it's there, it's in there. They got a lovely certificate from them to say that he's in the book. He didn't like a lot of fuss. He was a quiet bloke, but he would be very proud and pleased. What makes the Gunbower so special? The country, the atmosphere. I mean, last year I went there and it was called off. So what do we do? I said, well, we're going to the races. And I said to the president, you see, this is not good for you. You'll lose money today. He said, no. He said, we'll make money today. Have a look at the crowd. And the crowd were there. There was fashions on the field. There were some stalls there for the kids. Atmosphere and excitement for the kids. Oh, colourful, very colourful. And if it's a beautiful day, if you come up to Gunbower, you'll have a great, great day. When Jack passed away, my wife Helen and I said we should do something for him and the club. So we decided to donate a trophy for a race, which we had beautifully done. It's a nice plate, and they've got a race named after him. It's vastly important, and it's something which we are proud of. People say to you, you go and say, what's your name? No, it's Styring. Are you related to Jack? Say, yes, we're related to Jack. And it was, that's very, very pleasing and gratifying. Jack was known for his funny race calls. He kept people interested, laughing.
And ricochet rhythm jumped it, but not all that well. It seemed to take him about a fortnight to get over it.
I went to the races one day and heard one man in the crowd say to his mate, he said, "Have a listen to this bloke broadcasting the races. You've never heard anything like it in your life."
Last of all is Egg. Whether he's hardboard or fried, he's still back last of all. Jumps it beautifully. Went to the inside panel. One is gone. Egg has cracked. Okay, back into the centre of the Fieldway race.
He'd make you laugh. He wanted to make you laugh and he wanted to make you happy. A very, very nice bloke to be around. Everybody liked Jack. So I was Jack's half-brother because we had the same father and different mothers because Jack's first mother passed away. And he was very kind to me, looked after me and helped me, brought me along, and I was very grateful to have him. It was a natural decision to put Jack's ashes at Gunbower. Jack was very generous with his time. He'd buy you a drink, but only the one. He's looking down. I'm sure he's going to be calling the race, and his ashes are near the winning post. And he'll be so, so proud to know that they're there.
Well, personally, Jack Storing's always had a big influence on me and my mates because we spent a lot of time trying to copy his calls, Adam, and we were doing it a little bit of fun. But for you, as a professional broadcaster, he had a great impact on your early career.
I remember meeting him for the first time. We saw some footage of him calling a point-to-point meeting. That was at the old Melbourne Hunt Club just outside of Cranbourne. I met him at a similar meeting just outside of Yarra Glen. Many, many years ago, but I spent a bit of time with him at the Cranbourne trials. He'd give me a few trials on those big programs that have about 30 trials, and so that's how I started alongside him, and some very fond memories of working alongside a very unique character of the game. And yes, I know he's definitely had an influence on many young broadcasters.
I noticed in your calls too, Adam, that you've never used the cod calling the young or the thick slice of the bacon or any of those great classic Jack Storing sayings.
No, bearing the molars to the breeze, no, but there might be an occasion to sneak one in the future.
Fantastic. So we've spoken about Jack Storing, and it was a great story there by Lee Turner and the team there on a great voice. We're about to find out about a new voice, though. This is Andrew Fenors, who turned up at Sandown on a midweek and became a star.
My name's Andrew Fenors. I'm 11 years old. I'm from Perth.
Do you want to be a race caller when you grow up?
Of course I do. And they're off and racing. So now Joe takes the lead. Vinage getting a good ground up to second. Now they bound for home. Medici now in front. Yes, Lolo. Little Sturber giving chase. Yes, Lolo on the inside. And yes, Lolo. Medici giving chase. They hit the line and Little Sturber will get there. I want to be a race caller like Ben Spaulding in the picnics at Wollomar, calling the Wollomar Cup.
You enjoyed the Black Caviar Lightning, did you?
Yeah, and also the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah. Who's your favourite horse?
It's got to be Mr. Brightside Romantic Warrior Imperatrice. There's loads.
Yeah.
Winx, Queen of horse racing.
What was it like meeting Matty Hill?
Oh, it was just next level. That would be my best Melbourne moment of this year, even my whole life.
So if I said a track, would you know the race caller, do you reckon?
Oh, yes.
All right, I'll test you three. I'll go Cannington Dogs.
Kennington, Peter O'Neill.
Yeah. What about Morfordville on a Saturday?
Bert Davis.
What about Belmont on a Saturday?
Dan McCauley. It's Ascot at the moment.
Oh, it's Ascot, sorry. My mistake.
I watch racing.com and with you on the trial show.
Am I your favourite person on racing.com?
Oh, well, I have to say, it's going to be tough, but let's just say I love all yous. Nigel Cardy. How are you?
What's your name?
Andrew.
Hello, Andrew. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Nigel. You've been doing some AFLW commentary, have you?
I have been doing some AFLW commentary. It's quite enjoyable.
Well, every time it's nice to have you as the host of Racing.com Race Day Live, no matter where it is, Caulfield, Flemington, or even here at Sandown. Do you do any Sundays at country tracks?
Not really. That's more James Ferris's territory, and I've got to let JT have the country. He does a very good job.
Yeah, he does. How about BZ? What's he doing?
BZ today, he's probably walking around Port Melbourne having a swim.
So you know all these race callers. You want to be a race caller. Can you give us a race call?
Oh, 100 metres to go in the Cox Plate. Mr. Botside and Romantic Warrior. Romantic Warrior and Mr. Botside, they hit the line. Oh, this could be close. Mr. Botside and Romantic Warrior. Romantic Warrior's got up. Romantic Warrior's won the Cox Plate.
You're good, but don't get too good, okay? Because otherwise I won't have a job left after this.
Yeah, well, I gotta let you still have that job.
We're old friends. What's that? We've known each other for hours, haven't we, Andrew?
Yeah.
Ready to show Greg? Albion Park on a Saturday night.
Chris Barsby,
Morfordville on a
Brett
Saturday.
Davis,
Ascot on a Saturday.
Dan McCauley,
Geelong Dogs.
Wayne Oxford,
Meadow Greyhounds on a Saturday night.
Danny Bid,
Darwin Races.
Craig Sands,
That's just unbelievable. Isn't it?
What about Kangaroo Island last Saturday?
Kangaroo Island, Timmy Edwards.
Thought I had a kill him.
Well, Andrew knows more race callers than I do.
Absolutely got me covered as well. But well done to Ed Sadler and Lee Turner. That story just came out of nowhere. He turned up to the races, Andrew, with his dad, and I think they spotted his character shining through and they put the camera on him, and he really lived up to the moment, didn't he?
He's a Perth boy, so he was over here on a holiday.
Indeed. How would you rate his calls?
Yeah, terrific, great. He's got the makings of it, doesn't he?
He does.
And he's got the memory and the knowledge.
I would struggle to name all those broadcasters that he named off the top of his head, and even the great Greg Miles couldn't stun him.
That's right.
It's too good. Absolutely too good. Well done, Andrew. We look forward to following your career as it develops over the years.
We're going to take a break on Grassroots. Back with more shortly.
Duke to Sessa, 100 to go from Buckaroo, length and 3/4, but it's going to be Duke to Sessa, Harry Copping. This is your moment.
It's been a phenomenal beginning to the week. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, but like some people say, how many times have you watched the replay? I actually haven't had a chance to watch it that much yet, just because of how busy I've been, but the people reaching out to me and showing love, and also people with gratitude as well, and appreciation for what has occurred has been phenomenal. I was actually quietly confident he'd run a really strong race, and I said to my wife, Taylor, if I execute well and the horse runs to his best, we're a really legitimate chance of running a really nice third. I said, no, he's got the class to beat him, but I think he can run a real race. And she said, oh yeah, third. When you say that, they usually win. So it's amazing how it ended up working out.
10 is Duke de Sessa, 9th last year, 4th in 2 key lead-ups.
There'll be good speed again, but maybe 2400 will see more out of him.
I felt like he was the forgotten horse a little bit because his previous prep in Australia he didn't live up to the hype, but this time round he's been a different horse, and Karen had trained him specifically for the Caulfield Cup 2400. He'd put a lot of grounding in, he'd had work and racing during the winter to have him fit and ready to go, and he's come back a seasoned old gelding now who's tough as nails and tries hard, and I was the beneficiary of that, getting on at the right time. Obviously, you know, loading for the Caulfield Cup, it starts to really hit home that you're about to compete in one of our biggest races, and there was no shying away from it. I believe that, you know, Duke de Sessa was a legitimate chance of running a massive race. You hear the all clear, and you get the vets, it's clear, and the starters start yelling out, get ready riders, and I just stepped back aboard Duke and gave my backside a little wiggle on him to make sure he was ready to go. He'd been standing there a long time by now.
They are ready. Racing in the Caulfield Cup.
Came out a slight bit awkward behind, but he got into stride really quickly. This was a major part of my plan, was to not rush across. I wanted to have him in a good rhythm, but I didn't want to feel pressure from alias or deny knowledge either early and fire him up. I wanted to get across to the fence under my own terms, and then hopefully they'd come around me after that, and somehow it perfectly happened.
Sprint with it, deny knowledge, wax on Zardozi, and here's Buckaroo, Duke to Sessa.
And now I was like, wowee, he's quick and good. They're going to have to be good to get to me, but it is a Caulfield Cup. I won't get ahead of myself.
Duke to Sessa, 100 to go from Buckaroo.
But he just kept finding. He kept extending and holding his gallop. I had a little look at the big screen and seeing Joe coming, and I had a brief heart flutter.
Duke to Sessa, Harry Coffey, this is your moment.
Then got to the line and didn't know what to do, so stood up and just all these emotions. It's just phenomenal, and I'd actually saluted like this at Witchy Proof one day, so I'd had a bit of practice, so I stood up and got it even better this time, and I was just instantly thinking, how has this occurred? Like, what an amazing feat, what an amazing horse, and what an amazing story for me to win this race. Like, you just don't think it's going to happen to you, so I saluted all the way around to the 2000 pretty much, just absorbing it and taking it in, and it's just, I'm a racing fan, so I love the theatre of it, so it was just all these emotions at once.
It's Harry Coffey, it's the story of the carnival so far.
A moment he'll never forget, no doubt, capping off a great 2024. Of course, Harry winning with Q-Man in the Oakley Plate earlier in the year. I remember having a chat to Harry about 2 months before the Caulfield Cup. It was about September. I said, "Oh, Harry, how are you looking to the spring?" And he said, "Oh, pretty thin. I've only got 1 or 2 sort of fringe players. Don't think I'm going to be playing my part, but I can ride light and I'm there for the opportunities." And so he got the opportunity, seized it, and he made the most of it.
Absolutely. And if you go back and look at the longer story that we've done on racing.com with Harry, he goes through the whole ride and explains everything that happened. It is worth catching up with. But it's a remarkable story that he was able to win a Caulfield Cup on his 30th birthday when he's got cystic fibrosis. When he was born 30 years ago, he was probably lucky to be able to live this long. So the technology and the medicine has changed so much. But he's lived a life to the full. They're a great racing family. I love catching up with Aussie anytime I see him at the races as well. And to win a Caulfield Cup has really elevated his career.
And no doubt he'll keep on kicking goals.
He will indeed. One trainer who's hoped to be kicking goals into the future is Angus Tanley. We're going to find a little bit more about him as we head to a break.
Early days, I was at school, and I reckon I was about 14 or 15. I was in year 8, and I ended up in class with a kid called Benny Allen, who we all know. Anyway, we both had, our families were in horse racing, so we had an interest, and we sort of struck up a bit of a bond, and we're still really good friends today, and long before his riding career, of course. I think we used to sit on the iPad up the back of class and do the form. After that, I started working for Robbie Lang. My mum worked there, and I sort of got into strapping on Saturdays or on the weekends, or, you know, if I wasn't at school, I was strapping a horse for him. And then a job came up at Clinton McDonald's, and I worked there for a while with Clinton. And towards the end of that, I sort of applied and put all my paperwork in and got training. So that was a good experience. You know, Clinton's experience, second to none, really. He and Robbie Lang, I think if they opened a school for trainers, you'd get a couple of Group 1 winning trainers out of there. They're both really good teachers.
And then comes Tight Q late on the scene. Hard Bob, hands and heels, still in front, but Princess to turn and Tight Q at the end. Tight Q won it by a neck. Angus Townley, Emily Poston with a double.
Yeah, it was a very special day. I was pretty confident either 1 or 2 of them would win. 3 would have been nice, but no, I was very, very pleased with the way they ran, and big thrill. I mean, it's been a big couple of weeks, a Cornella and a double, so things are going great. There is a little bit of pressure to perform there. I think anyone that takes out a licence this young, there is a big black cloud over you that, you know, you have to perform and you have to get it right. I never wanted to take out a licence and just be like a mediocre trainer. I'd always want to be serious about it and consistently turn over winners. We sort of like to do a harder workout on Tuesday and then come here for a bit of a relaxing day on Wednesday and have a bit of recovery, and it keeps them fresh mentally as well. Although a lot of them are trained from the paddock, these horses, some of them are boxed, and it's a little bit of a break for them rather than going to the track and seeing rails every day. It's just a good mental refresh, and like I said, the recovery is great. Great for their legs. They come out of this water walker here and you feel their legs 40, 50 minutes later and they're still quite cool, so great recovery. We've got young horses that, they sort of need to be on the track. So we enjoy training off course. I've probably got no plans really to train on course anytime soon, but yeah, we're happy with what we're doing at the moment. I like staying small. I couldn't imagine having a barn of 50 horses or anything like that. I'd probably cap it at say 20, and then I could put, I like to put a lot of time into a horse, and you have too many in and you can miss something, or even with aid-in work at the moment, there's still stuff that you're missing. So I like to be hands-on, very much like Clinton, McDonald, Robbie, both of my mentors, very, very hands-on trainers. They have small teams. They turn over lots of winners. They don't buy a lot of yearlings and turn them over. So yeah, that's probably the direction I'd want to head in.
Mornington was just a gorgeous spot. It still is. It's God's country. We bought a beautiful property down there, 700 metres from the track. Moved down there with about 3 horses. Gunnamatta came about, and at the time he was bought at Sydney Easter in an attempt to win a Golden Slipper. He had a real sprinter's pedigree, being by Snippets.
Gunnamatta, number 8, ridden by Kieran McAvoy for Mornington trainer Tony Noonan.
We worked out pretty early that he wasn't precocious enough to win a Golden Slipper, so it didn't then venture, okay, we'll win a Mornington Cup.
Gunnamatta exploded down by the 100-metre mark. It's McAvoy and Gunnamatta. Gunnamatta wins the cup a length and a half.
We got into the first Mornington Cup, I think, with pretty low weight on his back, and once he won the first, it was a huge thrill, and then the interest then developed. Oh, we might be able to do this again. Nash had been with me a couple of years. He finished his apprenticeship with John Sadler and came down to Mornington, and he'd become a very important part of what we were doing. So to have Nash on the second year was an enormous thrill.
Here's Gunnamatta. Gunnamatta, he ranged up on the outside. The grab goes straight home. Lodger from well back and Flying Sparks making ground. Gunnamatta in front. He's holding on. Lodger making a late lunge. Gunnamatta in front for Nash. Tony Gunnamatta. Gunnamatta's won the cup.
Come to our attention that no horse had won it 3 times, and 3 times in a row. It was an amazing day leading up to it because, I think they had 18,000 that day, which was a record. I normally go up the stand, up the steps towards the finishing post to watch the race, and I couldn't get up the steps. There was that many people, and I thought, what are we going to do here? So I thought, in those days you could go into the jockey's room, so I went into the jockey's room to watch the race. Horse got a lovely run in transit, was threw back the fence, ready to pounce. He just needed a little bit of luck. The TVs went off in the jockey room. So this was at about the 300-metre mark, and he was just poised to run into the race. And by the time I thought, well, where am I going to go now to watch it? I didn't have any option. I just stood in the mounting yard, and I thought, well, if he hits the front here, I'll get some idea because the crowd will be behind him. And the roar was enormous. I'll never forget it. It was just an incredible moment. I wasn't sure whether he'd won. To win 3, create a record that I don't think will ever be broken. With staff, family, a lot of friends, with Jonathan, and have Damien Oliver riding. It was a massive day. It was just beyond belief. You look back at it now and you, in the heat of the moment when you're working, you know, it's part of what you do. But now that I'm old and just about at it, it's tremendous fun to look back and think, Jesus, how'd we do that? And he was such a great little horse. Like, he won a Warrnambool Cup as well. Really a solid character, and just huge thrill.
Sam, as you know, it's hard to win one country cup, let alone 3 in a row at your home track, but he really dominated Gunnermatta, didn't he?
He did, and when I went back and had a look at his pedigree, on his breeding, he's really bred to run 1,000 metres. So for the fact that he was by snippets, the fact that he was able to win 3 key races over 2,000 metres just belied his pedigree. But a great training performance, and as you pointed out, some high-profile jockeys on board for each of them.
Yeah, so we're Kieran McAvoy in his first, Nash Rawiller and Damien Oliver in his third and final.
Pretty handy, and there's only a couple of horses that we can recall as well who could sort of equal that. Royal Snack was the one I came up with who won 4 at Moe.
Moe Cups in the 90s, and Pura Marca was very dominant in the Hamilton Cup in the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh, it's a little bit before my time, Adam. You must be below your age a little bit. But a great story, and Tony Noonan, fantastic, giving us his time there to tell the story.
Well, that brings to a close this episode of Grassroots. Some great stories there. Thanks for joining us.
He is a beautiful horse and he is lovely and relaxed. It's a great sign.